Here we go, game 2. If Miracle wins this, they are still at the top of Group A, and that one game versus Liquid will be maybe Gen.G's undoing. I think they'd be very frustrated to not be topping their group.
They definitely would be, but at this point, for game number 1 went as expected. It was also their map choice, though we're now heading into the map choice of Miracle, but it was definitely pretty much what we expected after seeing the draft, and it was just well played from Gen.G, and that's what I expect from them heading into this match. I don't think those 2 losses against Miracle in the regular season are really a huge issue for them. The maps went to game 5, and at this point, I just feel from a tournament perspective, they are the team that heads into this with the confidence we can take this without dropping a map.
Yeah, there's so much difference between playing in the league play and then here when all's on the line and when there's people watching, there's an audience. It's just a huge difference.
Yeah, it's very difficult to be able to deal with a lot of that pressure, and I think it's more the pressure you put on yourself. When you play at home, you're just like,
Right.
It's just another day in the office, another Hero League game is sometimes what you can kind of fall into that pattern, but you can't here. You're in a completely different environment. For most of these players, they aren't used to being able to look over and be like, oh, I can see your screen. Like, this is my teammate, right? Like, and those things actually do have an impact when it comes to playing at this level here, and I think that is some of the things that we see coming out from Miracle.
Yeah, for sure. The Battleground pool is ready, and I actually believe that Miracle were the ones to choose Infernal Shrines, but both of them like it, and Gen.G's chosen it in the past. But this does afford Gen.G the fact that they have not only been able to choose the next map, but they won on Miracle's Battleground choice, which does end up being a really big deal for Gen.G now.
And you're absolutely right with the map pick. That noted down wrong. The one aspect I want to point out, though, is like they play actually in the studio, so they are at least used to that LAN environment aspect of it, but I just feel it's the added importance of the match that Gen.G is going to have an easier time dealing with here, and that gives them the additional boost, because they've been talking, as did Dignitas, over and over again, how important that rematch is for them, how they really want to prove themselves, and they know to be on track for that outcome, they have to win here. I think that extra motivation is something that will translate into them playing even on a completely different level here. But at the end, it comes down to the draft, and we're going to find out if Miracle makes the adjustments that you were talking about. That
we need to be worried about the Warrior pool right now for Judy and friends. I think already going into this Battleground, Dragonshire is one of the few that you can get away with the Diablo and the Garrosh, whereas Garrosh is heavily more decentivized when looking at Infernal Shrines itself. So because of that, if I'm Gen.G, I'd be looking for maybe a possible power play when it comes to the pick bans itself, and if not, finding ways to be able to dismantle the compositions that have come out from Miracle with those kind of more stereotypical warriors for Judy.
I also want to know where Malthael is placed. Malthael is a big reason why Miracle picked up the win versus Gen.G in the league play, because they won the solo lane so hard that things had to start coming up to try to assist Kyocha from that. We already see a Urel ban, which makes me think there is a potential that we're starting to see some manipulation from Miracle in that, and Gen.G has already adjusted. They played Malthael when we saw them play Dragonshire already in the group stage, so I think Malthael is going to come into play somewhere in this draft.
I mean, Urel, first of all, has of course great control over the top lane, but she also pairs so well with so many other heroes where she can give the extra survivability. We saw that come into play on map number 1 already, and that combo is, at this point, not an option any longer for Gen.G. But, of course, we are still having both of the tanks up here. Neither Diablo nor Garrosh have been addressed in the bans, so both still available for them. With that said, granted, on this map in particular, you have a lot of other options that you could go into, but Miracle, Judy, they're going straight for the Garrosh.
Hasn't lost with him yet.
It's really good that they're able to pick that up for themselves here. Gen.G with the response going with the Decker Kane Hanzo, going to help a lot when it comes to their mid-game control and even just overall the control over mid and bottom half of the Battleground here. But it doesn't pull away from that Garrosh whatsoever. If I'm Miracle, I'm now going in your face composition. I'm looking for that kill potential. I need a little bit of wave clear as well. Things like Jaina stand out to fit into that avenue very well here for Miracle. I'm not sure that they need to pick it into the 2-3, but as long as they get offensive and still have that wave clear, I think that they can deal with that Hanzo and that Deckard Kane.
There's also something to consider, which is the strong range that can be left bottom when things start to transition up to top, which is becoming more and more prominent in all regions, but is definitely a consideration for Korea, trying to go up and get the front wall down, maybe open up for ganks around the fort. So for Miracle to make sure that they have the Rainer that can now match up with the Hanzo that Gen.G have is really important, and they get to Haka, so they could even bring the ganks down to the bottom.
Exactly, so on top, on already running the Garrosh, you get the Haka, who can always follow that up with the additional drag. Hanzo for the control on the camps, I think, is going to be super important. If they time it well, they can really just set more pressure onto lanes whenever they force onto an objective or onto a shrine. And they can also pin the Haka down a little bit on the top lane if they properly time that with a commitment down to the bot lane.
And a Phoenix ban too from Gen.G, so they're really trying to make sure to control those those heroes that can do that, but then same with Miracle banning out Jaina. Miracle the ones banning Jaina.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Miracle try and make sure that they get Frankel to be the representative on the Raynor within this composition in this draft, again, into these low capabilities. In the last game, there were so many times where Sake was able to hit him with a Sapphire into a scroll ceiling, and it really was the breaking point at multiple times throughout that game. Yes, no, Jaina is going to make that a little bit more difficult than it was in the last one. As we see that Malthael come to light to be able to match into the Dahaka, a pretty good matchup there for him.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, showing that adaptation as you were talking about here still from Gen.G.
Talking about that Deckard, I was a little worried because in the series these two played against each other before, as Ana Li Ming comes in for Miracle. I was a little worried because when they played each other, Sake did miss a lot of scroll of ceiling, and when they started there were still some missed ones, but that Jaina really helped to make sure they nailed it down, and then having the synergy with the Blizzard was excellent for them.
In the Ana Li Ming here now, first of all, once again, you have a really good damage burst, especially when Garrosh at any point can... Either Garrosh hits a taunt or you get a drag through the Haka, you have really just a bullseye on a target that you can completely blow away. But talking about blowing things away, we have again Alarak in here, and that changes the dynamic quite a bit. Already a heavy commitment here to the engage with the Nuburak, even the Hanzo Arrow follow-up, and now we have Alarak on top of that too. That can definitely be the linchpin here, especially of course with the telekinesis coming in as well.
There have been so many melee assassin bans, and starting to see some more melees be brought in, and Alarak really feels like he's starting to be the next evolution of coming in, because this isn't a situation of Dignitas versus Mind Freak now. You're seeing this is a very important match.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for anybody wondering what's happening with that, it's the highest priority of ranged assassins are all extremely vulnerable to melee assassins as it currently stands. And the macro game has changed a lot when it comes to the double warriors that it used to be with the ammo system, and that's why Zeratul and Alarak are actually a lot more viable. Illidan's as well are coming into the ranks here. But when I see this Alarak come out, this is Gen.G. They are going to rely on the Malthael 1v1 advantageous lane, and it is a scroll of ceiling telekinesis wombo combo over and over in your face here into Miracle. And though I do think they have opportunities with, as you said, the setup in the Garrosh, I just go, all of those I think are a little bit too squishy. I still think that Malthael, Hanzo, and Alarak have such a low health pool that they might enable too many resets, and I think it was a bit of a risk, but if Gen.G gets 2 to 3 kills, this game's going to snowball quick.
Any thoughts to add to that?
Pretty much echoing that. Again, I think from a mindset, Gen.G is already in an advantageous position. And I agree completely with you when you mentioned Li Ming here. If you can at any point start with a kill against Hanzo, against Malthael, and get those resets in, then Miracle can definitely snowball it. But I just think that Gen.G has also just the mindset heading into this match that they are saying our comp works, we're confident in this, and we are going to have the execution to get those kills quickly and easily, especially after level 10.
One word, Gen.G or Miracle?
Gen.G.
Gen.G.
Gen.G. Over to casters for game 2 and the epic conclusion of this match.
Miracle. I thought you were about to just look at me and say Korea, as if like we wouldn't know that already. But this has been an explosive series after game number 1. But bringing out the Alarak when everything's on the line, the Ana is not that crazy to Miracle. They, in their last 2 games qualifying, they come in. This is another Ana game. Very unexpected, I think, in these drafts.
Yeah, I mean, this is the game that is for first place qualification in the group, so it is very important. There's a lot on the line here. You're going to face, 4th or 3rd seed on the other side of the group when we get to Anaheim for BlizzCon proper. So I really do see a lot of the ideas behind this post-10. Like, you toss down a Herodric Cube, and then you telekinesis during that slow, and then you toss down the root during that, pull back from the telekinesis, then you've got a guaranteed silence. You've got follow-up stuns from Nuburak. Like, it is a comp that will punish all sorts of mistakes. It will punish poor rotations. It will punish any sort of sluggishness in terms of understanding how to read the map. But I do agree with, I think the most important point is what Dreadnought brought up earlier, is just the reset potential with these small health pools. Counter-Strike's not going to save you forever.
Well, that is the risk, and you think Li Ming on the other side, there's also a risk of, should I go Calamity? And Calamity's the go-to. You don't get that reset, things can go either direction. I think that's kind of the exciting part about when these fights do break out as the later stages of the game come in. It's, where does Li Ming fit into this? And I think a lot of it hinges on the control that Gen.G brings out as a threat to everybody, but it's Li Ming and Frankel on the other side that can really help nail this home in favor of Miracle.
Yeah, it's, I mean, everyone probably who watches Korean League play will remember that those resets in that final map there, for Ballistics, versus Ballistics, right, on BOE, where he was just popping off and I was screaming and losing my voice. that's the style this team likes to play. That's the style they enjoy playing and feel most comfortable with is Ana Li Ming. They're almost never allowed to do it in draft because everyone knows that they're so strong on it. It's such a explosive, terrifying thing. But when they have been given the chance to in this case, I feel like Gen.G feels that there will never be a fight where they're getting chipped away piece by piece. There will never be a long fight. There will only be the insta-blow-up. Speaking of which, Judy is going to be that target. We're in the early game here, so there's no follow-up damage. Nacho Jin looking in here, they're looking for reset.
Yeah, they've got the damage out in response. That's the thing is, Gen.G, I don't think they had all hands on deck there to get those blow-up kills, and Miracle played a slow approach. They knew that Blue Beetle, great positioning on that siege camp, and then you have that rotation. It's been the superior wave clear in favor of Nacho Jin.
Oh, look at this deny.
This is going to be an early DK. I also think we need to point out, we have the Stormbow build picked up here for reset. Getting that target practice will get some bonus damage when he hits everybody multiple times with that Stormbow. So something to consider when you get that all in. You get that one combo, that one blow up, all of a sudden it makes it a lot easier when that Stormbow hits even harder.
Oh, it does really. When Hanzo first came out, this is the level 1 I always picked and went into this kind of build. And it's obviously compared to the Scatter Arrow build in pro play, usually inferior just in terms of value, but in ideal situations with it, like you're mentioning, you get so much done. Frankel is so dead here. No way out of this one. Judy caught as well. And the composition for Gen.G is working so well. They are getting these solo picks. Judy now the second to go down here. Blue Beetle wants to turn this. If Li Ming were alive, this would not be possible for Gen.G because of the reset potential here, but because that was the kill they got onto Frankel, everyone escapes, everybody's fine. They can push the envelope, grab that second kill.
The pathing and resources, you get fooled once when you make that path through that choke point. You're thinking, all right, I won't do this again. But all it takes sometimes for a team like Gen.G is to get that once. They have 2 kills. That DK, it's not like it exactly tore through the structures, but then you look up, Wolf, it's 6-5.
Yeah, exactly. And a small move like that, a small victory, on this battleground in particular, leads to other small victories that add up over time. And post 10, there's so much more you could do. Every single hero on the lineup for Gen.G has a role in killing the main tank, killing Garrosh. Once that front line is gone, Li Ming is fair game. You're not going to be able to use Calamity to get damage. You're not going to be able to get those kills. The 4 heroes on the left, the Anub, the Decker, the Alruk, the Hanzo, massive stun potential, so much CC. And then after the damage comes out, you last rights to get the kill. It's so easy to kill even a Garrosh with this composition.
Well, let's talk about that because level 7's coming up. Malthael, last rights, Touch of Death seems like a very good choice. You get that Reaper's Mark on, you get that Sun. Nice combo.
Oh, nice sleep too.
Landed. Rich is like, hey, I'm out of here. So we do get the Touch of Death. They are all in on that 1 kill, as you alluded to. So we'll see how many times they can pull that off. This is a high execution, but for a team like Gen.G, it almost seems like another day at the office when they want to do that.
Really nice rotation to mismatch here for Kyocha. They got 2 things out of this. First of all, now they're crushing this lane with the Night Camp, but also they were potentially going to grab that kill with a follow-up sleep dart there. So
it's a flank top.
Yep.
Here we go.
Ooh,
Sake's like, look, if you're pathing over here, I'm going to slow you. Instead, they find Judy in the bush. Sake and team, they're like, wait, we got reinforcements here. They're getting the lockdown. There's going to be the root. There's going to be 1 kill. The scatter arrow hits. Judy trying to walk away. Another slow comes in, and that's going to be a kill. Nacho Jin comes up for support, but with 2 members down, he's going to land a drag. They might get the counter kill here, and that is going to be kill number 1. So Miracle making the best of a bad situation there.
Yeah, it was a really weird rotation for Gen.G because they went to the right side there. They were extremely greedy, which almost cost Sake his life. We're going to see Nacho Jin contest here to make sure this is not going to be a Dragon Knight again with the mana advantage that Gen.G has. But that brushstroke bottom and the lane swap there was working out so well that had Gen.G not been successful with that rotation, I think Miracle would have caught up in experience. So very critical moment there.
You mentioned the second DK with a full level lead. Gen.G can use that talent tier advantage to get that once they pick up heroics. We'll see if Miracle can find a rotation. They do have the Dahaka on their side, so they can always play the numbers game with the global if they see somebody from Gen.G. And for Gen.G, it's a matter of hiding information when it comes to your rotation. Tiston team, they found Nacho Jin. He's stuck here in a bad spot. The telekinesis in. The silence should get one more.
The heal.
Blue Beetle comes in with the heal, and now they're trying to turn this around. Tis getting hit hard.
Okay, they certainly could turn this around if they had 10, if they had Nano Boost to commit, but they do not, and they are not going to actually chase. They're not going to go for a committed run back. And we do see Nacho Jin head back to the top lane. They know this is going to be a moment where their main objective is just don't fight, but don't give a Dragon Knight. We have a global hero. If we can just deny this for another minute or so, we'll be on even footing, but that's going to be easier said than done.
Go. That's ripped. That's going to be the Dragon Arrow. That's going to be the lockdown sniper trying to walk away. In comes Malthel, just misses getting that mark. Instead, he gets into position, but Sniper will have that heal up, and that will be their reset. Now trying to get that kill. Nice penetrating round will interrupt the natural agility. That's going to be a kill there. Perfectly timed by Miracle.
So well done. The Sleep Dart here going to delay the rotation. They do fail to stop the Dragon Knight, but this kill means that it's not going to have the same pushing power it would have had otherwise. They don't commit to the fight further, and they don't get any resets because Frankel was in the off lane soaking. So now that he is has done that, they reach 10. Just going to be Gen.G trying to get something with this Dragon Knight. Obviously, really grasping at straws with how this has gone. With the composition that Frankel he's in, he actually has to take Disintegrate because of the Cocoon. So that's going to actually limit the amount of potentially for resets in a big team fight.
They might dive this.
They could.
We saw that's a very good sleep dart. The reason being is Disintegrate was used to try and kill the DK, and Cocoon, that's your best defense to pop that Cocoon. And they had minions, they had the DK. They would have likely come in there. I think that was a very clutch. I'm not saying it was a guaranteed team fight, but it was a threat of one. So very nice sleep there by Blue Beetle to stop the onslaught, the potential onslaught of Gen.G.
Yeah, a very close call there. I completely agree. And Gen.G realizes, okay, this isn't going to work. The sleep's there. We're just going to back off. But now is the time, this is the first time in the game where we're on even footing, basically. Sure, Gen.G has a significant lead, but in terms of talent, in terms of team fight setups, Miracle was handicapped for the majority of this game. They had, one hand tied behind their back, but now they can fully come online. Now they can look to flank, set up engagements with the Haka, put out an Nano Boost. But we do see Judy under fire here, a lot of resources spent, but it does not actually get caught. Bit of a weird sleep there onto Nacho Gen. Very safe, but not very effective.
Yeah, there was a lot cleared out by Miracle. You could see getting rid of that spell armor was job number one by Frankel, targeting that mage in that night camp. They get that, they save the fort for now. A half-level lead here for Gen.G. Miracle starting to slowly climb and claw their way back in that experience department. 13 though, half a level away here for Gen.G. See if they can start to make something happen as they have their eyes on this siege camp.
Yeah, it's the global that helps them really catch up in soak, and they have the ability to not only do that, but engage with that global. Gen.G always has to respect, now that Nano Boost is available, the fight potential. If, as has been mentioned by the desk 1,000 times, we talked about in the early part of this game, if you do make a mistake and Frankel gets one kill and he's got Nano Boost on him, you are going to lose multiple members and you're going to lose control of the map. So before 10, they were able to bully Miracle. Now they have to show respect. Shrine's up in 10 seconds here, and let's see how Miracle wants to try to gain control for the first time.
Now there's a lot going, so for Alarak, the kills help get sadism, but hold on 1 second. Nacho Gen's going to be the target. Ancient Blessings has been popped. Nacho Gen waiting to see if that last rites was going to be used before he used that burrow. Instead, it won't. Excellent rotation by Gen.G. That's going to net a kill. Net 13. We'll also get them a fort here momentarily as they still have remnants of this camp.
And Miracle is known to be such an incredible team at understanding rotations, reading the map well. They're playing almost a bit scared here. It feels like they're so sluggish on these rotations. I mentioned before, if you're not already walking there when Gen.G is ahead of you, then they will get these kills with this composition. Other comps, Nacho Gen on the Dahaka can live a little bit longer there. The rotation comes through. Not against this single kill composition, so nicely done by Gen.G here. We are going to see the Sunshrine taken back by Nacho Gen, so no channel potential here.
Just love the way that Sake is placing those emeralds, those sapphires. The sapphire to make sure and get the slow, but then the way he's putting that root, it is isolating members. It's maybe not necessarily rooting one individual so much as it's splitting individuals. And right now, Gen.G, they've split the entirety of Miracle for a third DK. That first fort fell on the top with that night camp, but now with the bottom and the mid fort so low, this is going to help snowball towards that 16 very quickly.
It almost feels like Miracle intentionally gave this to them because they've given up on trying to win this game the standard way. I've seen Miracle do this a few times where they just look to take a defensive engagement on the Dragon Knight exit. So when it either expires by time or is eliminated, you collapse on that member, you get a reset. In this case, it's Hanzo, right, who's in the Dragon Knight. So once reset pops out, there's a lot of potential for catching him, and killing him. That's why Gen.G is playing so safe right now, because they know exactly what Miracle's got planned here. They're trying to win this defensive fight around keep. So many other team fights in the late game are won that way.
Just look at the minimap. I mean, Dahaka not pushing out the lane, just sitting there, hiding vision. Now we'll move forward to clear that. That's hiding the information. And then you also saw Kyocha in return, hiding in that bush. You mentioned Gen.G playing passive, and I think it's just a lot of counterplay from each other. The psychological, the mind game. Gen.G, they get 2 forts down with that. They get some poke on that keep tower. Now we're looking at a level and a half lead.
Yeah, this is just absolutely high-level play here. I mean, the Dragon Knight expires here. Not on the edge of a fort, not on the edge of a keep wall, but far away for any engaged potential. So now we have this map that is basically Gen.G controlled. Miracle doesn't have 16. It's a very unfortunate position if you're Miracle here, because you're like, well, I'm going to get my Siege Giant camp. It's not going to do much. You're glad that at least there's a top wave that you can soak with Dahaka where he's safe. But otherwise, you really just have to play passive and hope for that 16 fight.
Yeah, if this was North America, you'd be seeing a double camp play for that bottom lane. Right now, it seems like there's just, let's get the camp, let's force out some rotation, see if we can catch somebody in rotation. Korea does things differently. It's been pretty successful. They'll now make their way down for this camp. The reason you would see this a little earlier is to stack them. And if you're sitting there in the middle of that lane, it's almost better to not clear those minions, which is why you see Rich, he's holding point. He's not exactly fast clearing. So this is all very well timed now. Once they change their decision, they have the 16 tier advantage. It allowed them to say, let's double up these
Telekinesis.
camps. Yeah, Frankel now.
Arrow! Frankel is dead! This is a huge pick for Gen.G. Frankel is the lifeline of this team, the lifeblood. He is the one who's going to win the fight for them. Without him, they cannot even attempt to fight, and that means this is minimum a keep for Gen.G. What a moment there. He stepped over the line for just 1 second, and against the Alarak explosion comp here from Gen.G, you just simply cannot do that. What a tragic moment for Miracle. I mean, that is the kind of thing you don't see at this level of play, but Gen.G just snap, will find a mistake and punish it.
That right there, it seems likely that that keeps probably going down with that double camp. Getting that kill just means you control the battleground longer at this point. It allows you to have control going into this. Li Ming just respawned seconds ago, and now you're dealing with the remnants of that bottom lane. Dahaka's going to get that. Fortunate for Miracle, they did get that top left fort, so it gave them enough experience to be on even talent tiers, but you still find yourself 2 levels down, and now a keep down in that bottom lane, which is ultimate control. And right now, Miracle, they're going to look to try and set up a gank. Tist anchoring on one side, Kyocha on the other.
Okay, they're trying to play with vision here, but look at this. All DCC committed the last right. That is a dead Judy. This is exactly what we talked about from the beginning. There's the sleep. There's no way out. Rich with a big silence. It's going to be a double kill. Counter-Strike is what he's looking for, but he needs telekinesis to get that finishing kill with a burrow here. Nachogen attempts to escape, and this time Frank will be the last to die, and that is going to be GG. That is game over. Gen.G looking to take first seed here in Group A.
So excellently played there. The trap was so perfect there, and that's exactly what we expected from that composition of Gen.G, and there it came to fruition in the full. The discipline on that stay a while and listen allowed Gen.G to move into position. Rich goes over, had an easy double silence there with the Discord strike, and after that, just kill after kill after kill, and Gen.G will indeed take that #1 seed going into our main stage at BlizzCon.
Very terrifying team, the team everyone is afraid of, the defending champions at the mid-season brawl. It's a historic moment for Phase 2 here, as it'll be the first time they take a series win over their former sister team Miracle here. And it wasn't an easy run in this 2-game series. The match that closes the group out will also mean that we will have no tiebreakers here in the group stage. And these guys are the elite team. They're the team that everyone wants to beat, the team that you expect if you're the Western fan who wants to see the Western hopes take a title here. These guys look to be the final boss, the final pillar that stands in their way.
Between them and Dignitas, the #1 seeds in their representative groups, it's going to be a tough run for anybody on both sides. I think a lot of people are like, Miracle, just take 1 game for us, do something, give us a break, put Dignitas and Gen.G on potentially the same side of the bracket, but that won't happen now. 2 of the best getting their #1 seeds. It's just been a phenomenal performance for Dignitas. They had a little slip along the way, but they come back, they show that they're still a top seed team.
Well, that's going to do it for this incredible series. We're going to send it over to our desk. They're going to break it down and close out the group stage.
When they need it to the most, Gen.G takes out Miracle and tops Group A. Snitch said, we've done our part, now Gen.G have to do theirs, and they did just that. The teams we thought would top the groups, it might have gotten hairy for a second for Gen.G, but they delivered.
Yeah, they definitely delivered there, and the execution was absolutely on point towards the end. Especially the catch on Liming there was absolutely fantastic, forcing her to teleport first, and the Hanzo arrow right to the face with a quick kill. That was just great execution.
Were you expecting the performance from Miracle that we saw? Do you feel it was drafting issues the same as game one?
Not in the last game. Well, I would say there were some setbacks in the draft. Like, let's be real, you're talking to Dreadnought, you picked Dragonshire, and you picked almost no wave clear. Like, you're going to have a hard time to get my support in these type of situations, right? But that is also what got Miracle here in the first place. So that it makes me, it makes it hard to be like, you need to be able to go in this direction, mix the things up that much. But I do think there was a lot of missteps in the way that they approached it, and I do not think they expected the Malthael on the top lane like you were talking about with having Gen.G picking that up now.
Well, let's look at the finalized standings for the last 4 days. Opening week, the group stage of the HGC Finals. Group A, Gen.G, Miracle, Team Liquid, Tempo Storm. Group B, Team Dignitas, Heroes Hearth, Tempest, and the One. In getting top of Group A, Gen.G will be going up against the One. And for Korea versus China, Kaldor, that is a matchup that has not gone China's way pretty much ever, but the last time you really felt like it was good was the E-Star days, but there have been echoes of E-Star in the way we look at the One and how they play.
Now, I have to admit that the One had a really, really good run, and they impressed me. I did not expect one of the Chinese teams to do as well as they did, and they proved also that the victory, for example, against Tempest was not a fluke, or the map win against Tempest. They proved that in all of the series, even against Dignitas, they nearly scored the first map. I still believe that this is going to be the end of the road for them. I would be more than impressed if they can take down Gen.G in their current form.
Let's take a look at the bracket for the round of 8. Single elimination, our top 8. Here it is. Gen.G, the One at the top. They'll face the winner of Heroes Hearth Esports versus Team Liquid. And then Team Dignitas Tempo Storm will face the victor of Miracle versus Tempest. We got a lot to talk about. We've already broken down Gen.G versus the One somewhat, so let's switch now to Heroes Hearth Esports versus Team Liquid. Dreadnought, thoughts initially on that match?
I think my first instinct is I give Liquid the upper hand, but I think Heroes Hearth has shown that they have enough tools that I think, if they come in, really think out the strategy for that series, that they might have an opportunity to be able to get an upset there and move on.
Liquid actually, I talked to them a bit while we were watching the series with Gen.G just now, and they said they personally, for them it's a little bit even, but they might have even preferred to play against Tempest just simply because they feel Tempest is more predictable in the way that they play. Again, it's going to be a close one. I feel Liquid is playing really well. It surprised me how well they play right now, and that they've shaken off all the nerfs that they showed at previous offline events with the lineup here. But yeah, so it's gonna be definitely an interesting series, and I expect a neck-to-neck match.
I think there could be some concern for momentum there too. Tempest feel like they're in a decline, whereas Heroes Hearth feel like they're continuing on the upward trend. Same with Team Liquid though. And for Team Liquid, there's extra vengeance because Heroes Hearth Esports beat them at the Western Clash. So they really want to make sure that they can win that and keep going, but they'll be on the side of the bracket with Gen.G. Now looking at Team Dignitas versus Tempo Storm, is there anything left for Tempo Storm? Do we feel like there are any strategies left? What can they do to possibly beat Team Dignitas, who, by the way, this is where they fell out of the bracket last year, that round of 8?
Again, I might be wrong, but I look at this match and the way that Dignitas presents themselves and the way Tempo played, I expect a beatdown. That might be my European bias shining through here, but Dignitas...
Let's check in.
Yeah.
Dreadnought, European bias,
I don't have the trust in Tempo Storm here.
If Tempo keeps playing what they've been playing, you're right, absolutely. If they adjust, I want to keep an ounce of I think they might have an opportunity. But if they are sticking to the go-to game plan of that off-lane pressure and just kind of cycling around the battleground, I expect it to be a very lopsided series in favor of Dig.
I just feel that right now they're more so than anyone else, hinging a little bit on trying to bring out a draft that's a bit crazy and that Dig doesn't expect, and I don't think that's going to happen. Dig is just too experienced to be completely blindsided by something. Again, Dig might prove me wrong.
I absolutely agree, so let's move on then. Gen.G versus the One to start off day 1 of BlizzCon, baby! We are there! I can't believe it! I'm so stoked. After after that, Heroes Hearth Esports versus Team Liquid. Thank you guys, I love you so much. Team Dignitas versus Tempest Storm, and finally, Miracle versus Tempest. This is a rematch. You know, we saw Gen.G be able to get revenge versus Miracle. Can Miracle do the same versus Tempest? Because that was a 3-0. That was a dominant win for Tempest in the league play.
I have a feeling based on the performance of both teams, I give Miracle the upper hand there, though. We did talk about how it seems like it's the rock, paper, scissors at the top of Korea. It does feel like this is a breaking point for Tempest. They are on that downward swing, and it feels like are they going to be able to hold up to the Korean dreams that we expect out of Tempest? And then it goes, oh, at land, it's not holding up. It's, again, the same tale, at least so far here at the finals.
Anything to add for that match?
Not really. I'm a little bit... This is the one game where I'm not quite sure what to expect here, just simply because from an experience perspective and the BlizzCon factor figuring in again. But right now, I, again, expect a very, very close match between the two. It comes down to which team it feels better on the specific day.
Well, BlizzCon and the HGC Finals starts at noon right after opening ceremony. I know, I'm thrilled. Are you ready? Are you excited?
I am definitely excited. Europe is going to finally win a BlizzCon. It's going to be great.
I mean,
oh,
you know,
man,
like...
I can't wait for the value of the replay on that in case it comes to bite you back. 'Cause my goodness, that was putting the cart before the horse if I've ever seen it.
I mean, I give you that. This is the only one that you in North America still have on us. What are you going to do when we win the BlizzCon?
Oh my.
Gifts that aged well on Reddit. I can see it now.
Yeah.
I have faith. I have faith.
You know, I do too. I really do believe that it's Dignitas' time.
I think it feels like it is very much building to be that moment. And I think no matter how much people might look at JPL stepping down as maybe a breaking point of motivation for them, I can't help but feel like if I look at Snitch, like especially Wubby and the amount of time that they played, that it might have a negative impact. But I feel like that's a moment where I give all my heart. And it's like, this is what you've been able to build, and let's walk away with this saying, we did what we hoped and dreamed we always could do.
And with that being said, you two are not trapped in the same replay that I am. So yeah, Europe is going to win BlizzCon. We just said it right here. Thank you very much for watching.
That's my job, first of all. Second of all, clips don't run that long. I'm safe. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you all for being here. We'll see you at BlizzCon. Until then, we'll see you in the Nexus.
He got the safety of his own fort.
I'm actually a little bit scared now. You have the Sun Ring set up and then the arrow to follow it up from Hanzo. And talking about the arrow, comes through against Karazim, and immediately Poik is up in another kill.
Jump into that back line and see if he can pull somebody into the hands of Mindfree. Can they find a kill?
I am not quite sure if he doesn't need that avatar. Once again, the pulse bomb against Poik. He might actually fall. Yeah, barely gets away. Tracer ain't that lucky. She goes down, and she's not the only one. Li Ming joins her in death.
3 total web weavers have been sent out in this game, and we have not a single fort going down as of yet. They're going to try and dive onto Crowin, but he's tagging through it as they turn around and just delete side. Kerrigan dives in, Dragon, Arrow, and Good is having to teleport away. Darby's just getting bodied and blocked. Abilities being chucked out on both sides, both teams voting heroic, but here comes the Lunar Flower with 3 members, Heather in with the Starfall, but Dragon Blade onto the backline is doing so much work, shredding through the members of Lunar Meow, and they drop everyone low, but Lunar Meow unable to finish the job on any of the kills, and it is a full team wipe.
Set up a gank. Test anchoring on one side, Kyocha on the other.
And is trying to play with vision here, but look at this. All these CC committed the last right. That is a dead Judy. This is exactly what we talked about from the beginning. There's the sleep. There's no way out. Rich with a big silence. It's going to be a double kill. Counter-Strike is what he's looking for, but he needs telekinesis to get that finishing kill with the burrow here. Nachogen attempts to escape, and this time, Frank will be the last to die, and that is going to be GG. That is game